Hey guys, welcome to day 6 of me being authentic and speaking about my authentic self, trying to find my true life values. And so today is currently Sunday, and most Sundays, or at least what I'm going to tell you guys what I used to do while I was failing and then what happened now. So what I used to do is I used to journal every day. I used to go around with my notebook and I used to write stuff down that I thought was interesting or important. And I'm not like buried in it. It would be like if I heard a good quote from preacher at mass or something, or the priest at mass or something, or if I'm attending a seminar and there's a guy on stage and he's bringing out good points, I would bust out my notebook, write that stuff down, and then I would look at that. Uh, at the end of the day, reread it. I would write down kind of my thoughts of the day, wins, losses, or whatever I was tracking, and I would write specifically. Also, this might help you guys. Is I would write down things that would upset me or get me emotionally, emotionally rock my boat. And I did that because I want to see if, I guess I did that because the size, you can tell the size of a person by the size of the problem that stops them. And I didn't want to be stopped by small problems. So that's something I tracked very fervently. And I'd look at these guys on stage. And the reason I started was because I looked at these guys on stage who are earning ridiculous sums of money. And they'd said, oh, I journal every day, blah, blah. And so like I journaled every day. And uh, I didn't, eventually I think I lost belief in myself that being wealthy could happen for me. And so that's why I stopped. And then I was like, none of this really matters. I mean, I think that there's only, I got around, I think, I don't know what happened in the environment, but for some reason, I lost a dream and I just believed it couldn't happen for me. Then I joined people who were, like I said in the last video or a couple of videos ago, I joined a group of people that were hungry, that wanted more, wanted to better themselves. And I'm sitting across from people. They're not on stage. I'm sitting across from people who are earning ridiculous sums of money, and they're saying the same things. And I'm learning from people who are working with me one on one, who are all saying the same things. You should meditate. You should journal. And part of the reason for this, so I stopped for a while. Now I'm going back into it, and I understand now that I'm coming back into it. I understand more of the purpose. And the purpose of journaling is to track your thoughts. And that sounds weird, but the only difference between me and the guy on stage, between you and the wealthy person you know, are the beliefs they have in their head, and then the action they take throughout the day. And so everyone has the same 24 hours. I'm sure you guys have heard this before. Everyone has the same 24 hours. But during your 24 hours, how much of that day do you spend thinking about with negative self-talk? Like, have you thought about that? Is that stuff you've addressed before? Versus them, how much time in the day do you think they spend on negative self-talk versus how much of their thoughts go to business opportunities or where money's flowing, or who else do they need to talk to in order to learn the things they need to learn? Like, everyone has the same amount of time. It's the only difference between us and someone who's successful is how they spend their time and what their thoughts are. And so part of this activity that I'm doing now with this 21 days is I'm supposed to be tracking. One of the activities outside of this 21-day thing was I'm supposed to be talking and thinking about what my internal dialogue is. And when I got to that question, I didn't know what to answer anymore. And I used to be able to pinpoint it, like, especially my younger years, I used to be able to pinpoint that right away. Like, no problem. I knew exactly what's happening in my head. I would write that down, yada, yada, yada. This was an easy question. And then it's like, the question was something like, what are the 3 things you think about most now? And I stared at that question for like 10 minutes and I had no idea. And it's because it came like, now that I'm trying to pick up these habits again, it's because I don't journal. And so for those of you who are trying to become successful in whatever you're doing, whether it's Taekwondo, whether it's being financially free, I think that journaling is an extremely underrated and powerful tool. Everyone talks about journaling, but no one really understands why. And case in point, for Taekwondo, I got rid of every negative self So every negative self-talk thing that came to my head, I would immediately catch it and then repeat something positive 7 times that undoes that one negative. And it was very immediate. If a coach or another coach or someone said something to me that I perceived as negative toward my Taekwondo career, I would not let that thought enter my consciousness. I would hold that thought, get rid of it, say a positive affirmation of mine that undoes that one 7 times to make sure that there's a 7-to-1 ratio, and I would move on from there. But I haven't been doing that for other areas of my life. I haven't been doing that for finance. I haven't been doing that for my health. Now I'm just letting kind of whatever garbage wants to go in my head go in my head. I wasn't paying attention, and I stress you guys to pay attention to what's going on in your head. Now, I think this kind of on a side note, this is kind of a cool story where I didn't realize how much I had programmed myself until my cousin, who's also my coach, came up and we're doing drills normally. He's about to do an example of a drill, and he goes, "All right, Chris, which side's your weak leg?" And I immediately said, "I don't have a weak leg." And then he's like, "Oh, I like that." But I was like, it's not something I like premeditated. It was just something that I fully believed about myself now because of so many affirmations that like, my Taekwondo mentality when I was fighting, there was no weakness. I had no weaknesses that like could not be addressed. And so I don't have a weak leg. There's areas where I can improve on, but it's not weak. There's like a difference. I'm not weak in the area. I could improve upon it, which means it's like decent or better, but I'm not weak. And so journaling, all in all, what I'm trying to say is, if you guys want to be better at whatever you're doing, you don't only track your actions. You need to track your thoughts, and a way to do that is through journaling. And so I think it's underrated. I think if you haven't been doing it, you should do it. And I'll see you guys. If you found this content valuable, please let's say so in the comments, because I'm really trying to figure out which things that I like talking about are valuable to you guys, and which things I should kind of talk about in the future based on what's on my heart and what's on my mind. So I'll see you guys tomorrow for day 7. I'll figure it out.